peril to pray for the country and to admonish their followers to take the appropriate lessons from Prophet Muhammad's life in their commitment to the country. Tinubu also urged Muslims to extend their hand of fellowship to the needy and vulnerable in the spirit of the occasion while praying for the country and her leaders at all levels. Ahead of Nigeria's 63rd Independence Day celebration, the late Pa Taiwo Akinkunmi, who designed the Nigerian flag, and 10 other heroes will receive the citizenship ceremony, which is planned for October 5, is a component of the National Orientation Agency's initiatives to advance civic education across the nation. Other awardees are naval rated Salahuddin Akano, who hoisted the Nigerian flag at midnight to mark the independence of Nigeria in 1960, and the late Commander Onwura Chiazo, the commandant under whose order naval rating Salahuddin hoisted the flag. John Ilechukwu, MM Akpan, B.A. Ogunnaik, Shota Omogui, and P.O. Aderibibe all contributed to the lyrics of the country's national anthem. Also slated for honor is the man who directed the Nigerian police band, which included the late Benedict Odiase, the woman who created the national pledge, late Felicia Adedoyin N. Adewuse. The Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Dr. Garba Abari, stated that September 16 of each year has been designated as National Symbols Day and September 30 as Citizens and Patriots Day. According to Barry, the National Symbols Day commemorates the day when the nation's coat of arms and national ordinance were officially adopted, which is a day before Nigeria's Independence Day in 1960. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has released election timetable for the 2024 governorship election. Act 2022 and the Nigerian Constitution. In a statement by the National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Registration Committee, Sam Olumekun, the governorship election in the state will hold on Saturday, 16th November 2024, while political parties are expected to conduct primaries between 6th and 27th of April next year. The Commission stated that the final list of candidates will be published on 18th June 2024. Campaign in public by political parties is scheduled to commence on 19th June 2024 and end 24 hours prior to Election Day. Similarly, in Edo State, the off-cycle governorship election will hold on 21st September 2024, while political party primaries contesting for the Edo Guba election is to take place from 1st to 24th February 2024. The Independent National Electoral Commission says the tenure of the governors of Edo and Ondo states will end on 11th November 2024 and 23rd February 2025. The Ondo State House of Assembly says it would proceed with the impeachment process of the Deputy Governor of Ondo State, Mr. Lucky Ayedatiwa, despite an order from the Abuja. A statement by the Speaker of the Assembly, Mr. Olamide Oladije, said the House is fully conscious of Section 188, subsection 10 of the Constitution, which states that no proceedings or determination of the panel or the House of Assembly or any matter related to such proceedings or determination shall be entertained or questioned in court. The statement said in view of this, it has directed its team of lawyers to investigate the purported injunction secured by the Deputy Governor for necessary action. The House of Assembly said it will proceed with the legislative process to a logical conclusion, but in doing so, we strictly follow the constitutional procedures, adding that it will not abdicate or compromise its constitutional duty to hold elected officers accountable. An election petitions tribunal sitting in Akure has nullified the election of a member of the Ondo State House of Assembly representing Ile-Oluji-Okeigbo constituency, Nelson Akinsuroju of the All Progressives Congress APC. 7 polling units being challenged by the PDP candidate. The tribunal ruled on a petition filed by the PDP's Democratic Party, People's Democratic Party PDP candidate, and Babatunde Fadare against the election of Akinsuroju. Nelson Akinsuroju was announced winner by INEC after polling a total number of 10,207 votes to beat the PDP candidate who polled 9,287 votes. The petitioner urged the court to declare the election inconclusive and order INEC to conduct supplementary election in the 6 affected units where election was disrupted. Reacting, counsel to Akinsuroju Remi Olatubora alleged that the judgment was one-sided as it is based on morality of the case and not competence of the results, adding that the decision would be challenged at the appellate court. All is set for the execution of agro-logistics centers in 9 communities across the 3 senatorial districts of Ondo State. Ondo State Project Coordinator of Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Program, Femi Adetomi, confirmed this at a sensitization meeting held in Ile-Oluji community, Ile-Oluji-Okeigbo local government area of the state. Omoriola Rugbeji reports that the sensitization meeting, which was held with the people of Ile-Oluji, the first community to benefit from the gesture in the state, was to have the people's impact for proper execution. Her report.
Among the objectives of Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Program initiated by the federal government in collaboration with the World Bank and French Development Agency to improve rural communities are accessibility and establishment of agro-marketing hubs. Ondo State, which is one of the 13th beneficiaries of the tripartite funding, will get 9 agro-logistics centers across the 3 senatorial districts of the state. Project coordinator of RAMP in Ondo State, Femi Adetomi, said the state showed interest after he discovered the numerous benefits attached to the federal government project. According to him, civil work is currently ongoing on approved 1,543-kilometer roads across the 18 local government areas of Ondo State. Mr. Adetomi maintained that the meeting is to allow for the impact of residents for effective delivery.
The federal government, in their own wisdom, look at it. If we have a good roads to the farm, to communities, and eventually if produce are coming out of the rural communities, where are they going to select or aggregate all this produce? That is why marketing was brought into the project. We were given a mandate to intervene on between 6 to 9 markets. Ile-Oluji was chosen as one of the 6 to 9 markets that will be intervened on.
National Coordinator Aminu Mohammed, represented by Sadisu Abubakar, said about 117 agro-logistic hubs will be erected nationwide with $2 million per project.
If we see any changes along the way that we feel that it's necessary to amend our earlier design, then we'll quickly adapt to what you want. So please work with the consultant closely, especially the market women, the KBC, to at least try to see how you guide them to give you what you want.
Expressing joy over the development, head of local government administration, Ileoluji Okegbo local government, Mrs. Modupe Omoloja, alongside other residents including Iyaloja and other chiefs, suggested more ideas towards the project.
It's going to help the community as a whole to grow, and even our market women, they will have a very conducive environment to sell their products and to bring in and out their produce.
Reacting, Jegun Oluekun of Ileoluji, Oba Julius Adetime, reminded the agency of a firefighting station to be included in the project and assured of the readiness of the community to make the environment friendly and conducive for the project's execution.
We value it, and it would be a turnaround in the living standard and the economic life of the citizenry. The cooperation and support of the community people is highly essential, and I can assure the consultants and the contractors and the management team of the program that we are a peace-loving community.
Ileoluji community has released a 10-hectare land will be situated and expected to commence with immediate effect to meet up the 18-month ultimatum for handing over. Omoriola Hungeji, Osrc News.
The federal government has approved the purchase of 12 attack helicopters for the Nigerian Army. Reid Lagbaja said these were declaring open the Nigerian Army Aviation Maiden Seminar on Aviation Security Awareness in Abuja. Lagbaja said the acquisition of the initial 12 MD-530F Kayuse attack helicopters will actualize the operationalization of the Nigerian Army NA aviation to effectively tackle security challenges bedeviling the country. He said the acquisition of the new attack helicopters is part of ongoing efforts by the federal government to boost the operational capabilities of the Army aviation to appropriately respond to contemporary and emerging security threats. General Lagbaja added that since 2014, the Nigerian Army has made commendable progress in training pilots, aircraft engineers, technicians, and other ground support groups, affirming that the Nigerian Army understands the highly technical nature of the aviation business and the need to be appropriately mentored. Hence, its international collaborations and submissions of its nascent aviation outfits to the mentoring of the Nigerian Air Force. In Mali, escalating armed conflict, mass displacement, and restricted humanitarian access is putting the most vulnerable at risk. According to UNICEF, nearly 1 million children under the age of 5 are at risk of acute malnutrition by the end of this year, and at least 200,000 at risk of dying of hunger if life-saving aid fails to reach them, and close to 5 million children are in urgent need of humanitarian assistance across Mali. That is a 40% increase since 2020 of children who desperately need help.
One of my twin boys fell seriously ill. I took him to the health clinic in our village for treatment. After a while, they told us they couldn't keep him there because the illness was getting worse and he needed to be admitted to a bigger hospital. That's why we came here in Kati for treatment, but he's still sick after weeks of being here.
On the national level, we have about 200,000 children suffering from acute malnutrition, and the level of that acuteness has surpassed all our expectations. They need to be admitted in intensive care units, and their treatment should be paid for. But there is a huge deficit in human and financial resources for such a task, so unfortunately many of those children lose their lives.
At least 100 people have died after a fire broke out at a wedding in northern Iraq. Authorities are warning that the death toll could rise. 150 to breathe. It is reported that fireworks may have started the blaze. Iraq's Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani has ordered an investigation. Iraq's Health Ministry has ordered first aid for survivors in Ahmadiyya district near Mosul. In a related development, more medical teams have raced to Nagorno-Karabakh, where an explosion at a fuel depot killed at least 68 people and injured nearly 300. Many are in critical condition. The explosion happened as those seeking to flee the region to Armenia lined up for petrol on Monday. The cause of the blast is still unknown. Tamara Ebiju Jide reports.
Fire raged for hours as a 100-ton fuel tank burned. 15 special firefighting vehicles were sent by Azerbaijan to extinguish the blaze. People gathered to fill their tanks as tens of thousands of ethnic Armenians leave Karabakh. Russian peacekeepers and the Red Cross are evacuating critically wounded burn victims. Ill-equipped hospitals struggled with the influx of hundreds of patients. Several facilities, including a medical center run by the Russian peacekeeping missions, were quickly overwhelmed. Aid has started to arrive, and medics are calling for urgent supplies.
It's urgent that all these patients, hundreds of patients, get as much medical care as they can, but it's also urgent that these patients are moved to medical facilities that are able to better care for them.
Representatives of the Azerbaijani government says they are in contact with the representatives of the Armenian residents of Karabakh. The Red Cross is being given access to treat the wounded. Medical workers and supplies are being flown in from Armenia, and some patients in critical condition are being taken back. The Azerbaijani government says it has opened its airspace, sent in medical help, and put hospitals around the Karabakh region on high alert. But after years of mistrust and fighting ethnic, Armenians aren't even ready to bring in their critically wounded patients for treatment in Azerbaijan. Tamara Ebiju Jide, Osrc News.
United States President Joe Biden has made history by joining striking auto workers in the picket line in Detroit. Biden told members of the Auto Workers Union that they deserve the pay rise they are asking for. He said they should be rewarded for the sacrifices they made when car manufacturers were struggling in the financial crisis. Odonya Sawyer reports.
It is symbolic and significant. The first time a serving U.S. president has walked the picket line with striking workers.
You guys, the UAW, you saved the automobile industry back in 2008 and before. Made a lot of sacrifices, gave up a lot, and the companies were in trouble. But now they're doing incredibly well. And guess what? You should be doing incredibly well too.
The White House likes to portray Joe Biden as the most pro-union, pro-worker president in history. The workers say they want more than a photo shoot and support.
You know, it's great that he's coming out here, but anybody can come down here and talk. We want to see some results.
I say we're asking for exactly what we're worth. We're doing a hard job, and we should get what we're worth.
What kind of power? Union power.
Workers at the big 3 car manufacturers worked out when the last agreement expired. They are looking for a 40% rise over 4 years, better retirement payments and guarantees over jobs as the industry switches to electric vehicles.
If everything is held constant, and the growth of EVs does represent a threat to employment in the U.S. auto industry. If there's a big surge over the next 7 to 10 years, we could lose upwards of 75 to 100,000 jobs. That's a big share of auto employment.
Joe Biden has to walk a fine line here. He wants to show support for the workers on the front line of this dispute, but he also knows that an extended strike will cost the U.S. economy billions of dollars, and he plans to run on the strength of the economy in his re-election efforts. Also, his biggest Republican rival, Donald Trump, will be in Michigan today, trying to win the support of the same auto workers. The companies say they have made record offers to the unions. They are a sign of movement, but not enough to get a deal. The White House says it is staying out of negotiations, but it isn't as reluctant to show which side it favors. Oduayo Sawyer, OSRC News.
In a long-expected move, the United States Federal Trade Commission and a collection of 17 states are suing one of the richest companies in the world. Amazon is accused of harming consumers by stifling competition.
We are influenced to buy only from those that do everything that Amazon tells them to do and pay whatever Amazon tells them to pay.
I think a breakup is on the table. It is one of the things that the FTC is asking for, but there's a range of outcomes that are possible, and including simply barring Amazon from the various practices that this lawsuit is complaining about.
The Philippine government has begun an ambitious project to restore what has been described as a dead river. The Passage Waterway in Manila has been ranked as the world's most polluting river as it empties thousands of tons of plastic into the ocean each year. A task force has been formed to rehabilitate the river. Kemisola Ojomo reports.
As a cycling advocate, Iran crews often bikes along the Passage River. It is our main body of water that stretches nearly 30 kilometers and spans 5 cities within the Philippines' capital region. While it is clearly polluted, Iran doesn't think it is dead.
I see a lot of people hanging out in this area. And then even on weekends, you'd see people fishing. Whether or not it's dead, it's serving a purpose.
In 2021, a global study found Passage River carried the most plastic waste reaching the ocean from rivers, while small parks and historical landmarks line the river's banks. So do informal communities and industries. They produce waste where people used to bathe and wildlife thrived. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. believes the river is worth saving. He has unveiled a master plan. He says we rehabilitate the waterway and develop areas surrounded to boost trade and tourism and the quality of life for millions of people. There have been many efforts to clean up the Passage River over the years, but this $35 million dredging project is one of the biggest operations to date, and it hopes to complement the government's plan. San Miguel is one of the country's biggest conglomerates. It is undertaking the year-long endeavor and at no cost to the government.
In cleaning up the river, we have removed about 1.4 million metric tons of silt and waste.
But critics have expressed doubts over the company's intentions. San Miguel has also proposed building a major road over the waterway. The Department of Human Settlement and Urban Development heads to Passage River Rehabilitation Committee and says the road isn't part of its plan, with both projects still years in the making. People here can only wait to see how saving this river is going to change their environment. Kemisola Ojomo, Osrc News.
India is hosting coffee producers and buyers from more than 90 countries at the 5th World Coffee Conference. The organizers say that they want to help coffee farmers by promoting sustainability, but many farmers are struggling with the costly effects of climate change.
Last year, our crop was down about 40 to 50%, because of the erratic rain patterns. And we got rains when rain shouldn't have come, during the harvest season. So many of the coffee cherries that you see, because of the rains, it starts dropping. And once it drops, the quality degrades also. So that was a major concern last year. The year before that, we had very less rains.
Up to fruit picking, India's coffee is the best in the world. But after picking, it becomes the worst coffee in the world. To cure it is a very expensive process. Small farmers like me, we can't afford it.
Though our coffees are one of the best, the world is failed to recognize. Probably we also did not tell the right story. But I'm happy to tell you that slowly that market awareness is taking place. Indian Robusta slowly started getting traction, and it has been recognized as one of the good coffees at par with Arabica in most of the times. So we are hopeful that the days are very green for us.
And that's the word at noon. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon.
Play, rewind and record live TV.
Somebody shout hallelujah.
Take your favorite channels from Africa.